Well, we have to validate an object that has a single field, the ID field, which is a positive integer. Doesn't that sound familiar? We already have a structure that represents this validation, the ID DTO. Sometimes, inside a DTO, we may want to validate a field using the validation of another DTO. When we validate a DTO inside another DTO, we may call this process nested validation. So let's use it here in order to be able to leverage the IDDTO validation here. To achieve this, I will then, in this categories IDs field, I will remove this IDs part, and then I will change the type from number to IDDTO. Now I will remove the escadeno decorator from here and use the decorator validate nested. And just with that, we can use the IDDTO validation. And now categories must be an array of objects with the ID field, which is a positive integer. And as IDDTO is not a primitive type, I also have to use the type decorator with an anonymous function that returns its type. We can even create a decorator to represent an entity in the payload, just like we are doing right now. So let's do this. I will then go back to the escadeno decorator and copy this again. And now I will create here the isEntity decorator. I will paste this here and change the name to isEntity. And I will change the description to check if the value is object with only a serial ID. Now I will go back to the create product DTO and copy these two decorators. And now in the isEntity decorator, I will copy them here. And remove the @ signs. And import them. I'll quickly reload the window. Now, remove these validation options as they won't be necessary here. So with this we have our isEntity decorator. I can just go back to the create product DTO and use it here. So before finishing this lesson, let's just test these new functionalities. I will come back to the terminal and run the application again. And then go back to Insomnia. And here I will quickly create a new category. This error is just because I had forgot to run the application. So I will call this new category furniture. And then I will create a folder for products. I'll just copy. Instead, I'll duplicate this one and rename it from categories to products. And change the resource variable to products. And then in this create post request, I'll use the name ball. I want to use a description, and I'll set the price to 4.9, for example, and I'll set to the category toys. So I'll do this by setting an array, and inside it, an object with an ID field, with the value of 1. I will put this in the same line. So I will send this, and the ball has been created, this product. I can then find it, and if I find just it, it will be brought together with the toys category. Now, if I go back to the category requests, for example, I will find once again the categories. So I have these IDs. If I try to remove a category with the ID 2, which is furniture, I will succeed. But if I try to remove the category with ID 1, toys, then it will fail because this category has related products. So this is working properly. Of course, if you want, you can try to create a product with this field in the wrong shape to see how the validation will behave. So now I'll just commit the changes. Implementing product logic and using nested validation. So, until the next lesson.